Don't you hate when you play something fantastic on your MIDI keyboard and then you instantly forget it? Well, I have fantastic news for you. FL Studio is secretly recording all of your MIDI inputs. You can easily access it by going into Tools and selecting Dump Score Log. Did you know that you can easily automate just about any parameter in FL Studio? All you have to do is wiggle around whatever parameter you want to automate, go into Tools, Last Tweaked, as you can see it says Valhalla Delay, Master, Mix, and create an automation point. Doing a remix and can't seem to figure out the melody or chord progression of the original song? You can use Fruity Loop's Wave Candy to easily visualize any melody you choose. All you have to do is go into the spectrum, go into Max Res, and select the highest option, and then turn the scale way up. Then when you have a section you can understand well, you can click the freeze function, open up whichever plugin you want, and start mapping out these notes. Once it gets up here, you can't really tell what's being played, but in this area, you can very easily see which note is being played. This one might be a bit more beginner friendly, but if you have a nice melody or just the entirety of a song written in a pattern block, and you want to effortlessly organize it into a full song, you can do that easily by right-clicking the pattern block and selecting Split by Channel. You'll now have all the individual items in their own individual pattern block. You can select them all by clicking the bottom one all the way to the top one with the Shift button held down, clicking that, and then dragging that over. Now you can create endless variations while organizing your tracks. And if you're having trouble organizing or structuring out your tracks, I luckily just uploaded a video where I go over my favorite song arrangement tips and techniques to make sure you can turn those 8-bar loops into full-fledged songs. I will leave a link to that video at the end of this video. Having trouble staying in key? Use FL Studio's built-in scaler. All you have to do is go into View, Scale Highlighting, and then choose from a variety of scales here. Let's go with major, let's go with E major. Now all of these lighter notes on the grid will all be in scale. Another way to do this is by going into Stamp, picking the scale you like, clicking down here. Here we have B major. You could then duplicate this, shift it up an octave, do it again, and now you can follow along with this highlighted method. It's a little bit easier to see. Here are some great shortcuts that you might not know about. If you have a note selected and want to shift it up or down an octave, all you have to do is click Control and then up or down. You can then do the same thing with Shift and it will go up or down one semitone. Shift L will elongate selected notes to sustain until the next note. Shift D will shorten the selected notes to whatever grid size you are currently using. If you want to easily duplicate a pattern, you can select all the notes within the 8-bar loop and then click Shift B. You can easily sidechain your kick to sub/808 with Fruity Limiter. No need for any third-party plugins. You could of course use LFO tool if you're making music that is strictly 4 on the floor, but if you still want that sidechain pump in other genres, you can easily do it by selecting your kick, hovering over whatever track your sub/808 is on, right-clicking, and sidechain to this track. Now all you have to do is open up a Fruity Limiter, go into Comp, select sidechain 1, and follow these settings. You want to turn these two knobs all the way to the right. The sustain knob I always keep at 0, but you can keep this up a little bit if you want something a bit smoother, and then messing around with the threshold and release knob until you get something you like. You probably don't use Edison as much as you should. A plugin where you can easily bounce down, print, reprocess, and truly just mangle any sound you really want. The main way I've been using this recently is by printing down any small automation moves I do in the project to keep things a bit more organized. A big downside to automating in FL Studio is that it can really start to clutter up your project and, at least for me, make it look super unorganized. So if I'm automating some kind of filter on a kick or a pad or a snare, I'll solo the sound during the automation point, click record, drag it back into my project, and voila! No more small automation moves cluttering up your project. A big one that I use a lot is using FL Studio's pitching algorithm to add cool, weird textures to anything you can print. I usually like to do this with VSTs that emulate real instruments, as I find it almost adds a different level of vintage kind of vinyl-y messiness to the sound. You can do this simply by right-clicking whatever pattern block you choose, going quick render as an audio clip, and now as a waveform going through and just pitching a sound up or down. I typically find that pitching down works 95% of the time, whereas pitching up introduces way more artifacts than pitching down. A workaround to this is shifting your original MIDI up to a higher scale and then shifting it down once printed to your desired scale. That's what I did with this song here. I took the original MIDI of the song, pitched it up an octave, pitched it down an octave, And now on to our last tip. I'm going to talk about something that really bugs me about FL Studio and really gives me a hard time when I'm opening up larger projects. Every time you reopen a FL Studio project, it decides to open every single instance of every single plugin you used on that project, as you can see here. It can really slow down your computer, sometimes even crashing your projects, making them essentially unopenable. But I just learned recently how to easily get around this. All you have to do is press the F12 button, which will close all the windows, and there you go. No more random instances back here. Look, if I close out the playlist, nothing is back here anymore, giving you a fresh start to your project. That is it for this video, guys. That is 10 must-know tips in FL Studio. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope I was able to teach y'all something, and I'll see y'all in the next one.